Hi guys, and welcome to the Vice Flies YouTube channel. This is the Fly Tying for Beginners series. Let's jump right into it. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Fly Tying for Beginners series. This is episode 6, and today we're going to be doing a yellow owl dry fly, the first dry fly of the series. This is the standard pattern we're going to be doing with just simple thread rib and a hare's ear thorax. This is a really easy pattern to do and one of the most effective dry flies in the UK for both brown trout and rainbow trout on still waters. A really easy pattern to do, and let's get right into it. Today you'll be needing light Cahill thread. This is a 80 thread. It's not got a label on it as it's a different manufacturer from Vineyard, but this is the light Cahill version. For the rib, you'll be using black 80 uni thread, and all you'll need is CDC feathers and a hare's ear dubbin. The hare's ear dubbin I'm using today is just a simple natural hare's ear dubbin, and the CDC I'm using is grade A. Now, when you're getting your CDC, one of the most beneficial pieces of advice I've ever been given was getting the highest grade of CDC feather, and that is because when you get the feather, most of the feather, now this is a grade C piece, and as you can see, most of the feather here is lacking CDC, and grade A is much higher than that. This is where you're actually seeing much higher plumage in these two feathers, and that makes your dry fly float much more effectively. So the first thing we're going to do is simply wind on your light Cahill thread. Is going to be the main thread, and the black thread that you're going to use in a second bobbin holder is going to be your first thread. So wind on your light Cahill down to around about 1/3 of the way down the hook. Snap that off. Now we're going to come up to where we want the eye of the hook, so that the end of the shuttlecock to be. So that's going to be roughly where I want to finish, and then you're going to place 4 or 5 CDC feathers on top of each other, and this is going to become your shuttlecock head. So you want to place them on top of each other the same way, just making sure that all of the tips align. We're going to be using only the tips for this. Some people do like to use the stalks of the feather. I don't like that very much, purely because the fly can get quite heavy and quite wet. The main reason that people use the stalks is because the stalks can make it so that the plume doesn't sit so fluffy, it sticks up a little bit more, and also when you're flying it through the air to dry it, the stalks give it some kind of breathing area so that the water can be dispersed from the middle of the plume. But I like to have actually the tips. That's one of the most buoyant bits, so I don't see why you would use any other bit, but do it for personal preference. Now just line the tips, and the full length of the shuttlecock is going to be the length of the body, so that's about as long as I want it. Now just place that on the front there, one loose turn, wrap down nice and tight. After that, just coming back 4 or 5 turns, then we're just going to snip that off. Be sure to use your sharp scissors there. Now we're just going to tie the rest of that down. Don't worry about this head being too big, because that is where our thorax is going to be. So really don't worry about how messy that is. Now just pull this back and drop a couple of turns in front of that, and that'll make it set up a bit more and easier for you to whip finish there at the end. So now we're going to start on the body, and now this is where we're going to start being quite neat with our thread, because this is actually going to be the body. Give it a nice touch and turns all the way down, be nice and even. Make sure that they can't see any of the hook bed through there. If you do go over, pull back a turn. Make sure it be nice and even. Coming round the hook bend, we are going to want to give it a little kink, as when the chironomid is hatching off, which is what the yellow owl represents, it will have a slight turn in the body as it's hatching off. So to imitate that, we either use a grub hook, which is quite common for using it for tying a yellow owl on with a quill, or the standard version, or you can use a straight hook. This is a B160, sorry, and that has a wide gape on it, which is better for hooking up, and you can also come round the bend of the fly slightly easier. So now that we're down here, we're going to simply take our other bobbin holder with the black thread, place that beneath it, come up, just rest the bobbin holder against your vise, hold the other side of it, oh sugar. If you do have any mistakes, remember, and just take your time, try and keep this body as nice and neat as possible. So hook that in, rest the bobbin holder there, pull this tight, and come round, making sure that you cover every single bit of that black thread, because you don't want to have a little base there for any spot of black to really shine through. And then just take this out. Then now touch and turns, coming all the way back up, and this is going to give that nice light Cahill body. Now we are going to varnish this, so if you do have a couple of turns out of place, don't worry too much about it. It won't shine through too much, but try and be as neat as possible with the body. So now we're going to take our black thread, and you can spin it to make it thinner if you like. So spin it in the same direction to make the rib nice and thin. If you want a thicker rib, then spin it anti-clockwise, and that will thicken it up a little bit. And now just touching, quite open turn, sorry, all the way up, being as even as possible. Once you come past the bend, you can just use one hand, and if you do think that it's getting too thick at any point, just give it a twirl to make the thread a little thinner again. And then you can re-tighten that at any point. That last turn's a little bit too close for my liking, so just come back. There we go. And now you can tie that off. Just come in front once, and we are going to have quite a big thorax here, so you don't have to be too neat. Now simply for the thorax, it's going to be that grey hare's ear, natural, an excellent imitation of the wing bud hatching open into the shuttlecock. So now you're just going to dub that on. Try and keep the first bit thin and just dub in the same way the whole time, just rolling your fingers through the dubbing material and push that light bit up to the top. There's secure. Bring in your first bit, go over the top of that, and now with the thicker material, come through the top, tear off any excess apart from that little bit there. We're going to use that to join in front. Come in front of the eye of the hook there, pushing all that back, then take your whip finish tool, and in front of the eye, pulling it all back, we're just going to whip finish. 3 or 4 turns, and just tear that, take that away. So now you've got that nice thorax of the hare's ear. Try and pull that all back so that we can varnish this body, because one thing, the amount of fish that you will catch on this, it's going to stress the rib out quite a lot. So by placing a bit of varnish over this body, it'll not only give it a bit of a more even sheen, but you can actually secure the fly a lot more and make it last a lot longer. So I like to use just regular Vineyards varnish serum. This is because it's actually a really light varnish, so you're not going to weigh the fly down too much with this varnish. One coat over the top, half a drop on the bottom. Make sure to even it out. so that all that thread can absorb it, and then give it another layer afterwards to give it that sheen. You can just leave it on one if you like. I like to give it 2 coats, and that'll not only secure it more, but it gives the body more of an even sheen so that you can't see any of that thread protruding out. And that's your classic yellow oil pattern. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a like and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content. We'd love to hear from you, so please leave us a comment telling us what you think and what patterns you'd like to see. See you in the next video.